Hello, amazing souls. Do you ever find yourself doubting that gut feeling and second guessing your every choice? Or maybe feeling disconnected from your spirit guides? If you're nodding along, you've landed in the right place. Welcome to the Soul Vibe Insights Podcast. I'm Maddie Hollingsworth.
And I'm Emily Pearl. We're all about demystifying soul energy, emotional awareness, developing your intuition, and the Akashic Records. We're here to make these powerful tools accessible on your journey of self discovery.
So pull up a chair, relax your vibe, and let's jump right into today's show. Hey there, amazing souls, and welcome to today's show. We're excited to be back with you once again, and we've got a fun topic to discuss with you. It's all about Earth, school, spirituality, and the notion that all of us here, that our souls came because Earth is a school and we came to learn, to live our lives and have them play out, whether you're paying attention as the human or not, because I sure lived a big chunk of my life not paying attention that I could grow from my experiences and have opportunities for learning more about myself. In the end, your soul gets the opportunity to learn and to remember and to integrate all of your experiences from this lifetime back into the whole of itself, and then come back and do it all over again as a leveled up soul, as a more wholesome soul, a more well rounded soul, having a new human experience.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Yeah, I think it's interesting to think about Earth as a school. And honestly, it kind of makes sense to me if you read any of Michael Newton's work. He literally talks about how the spirit world kind of works like a school as well. So to me, it would just make sense that, we would incarnate here and kind of make a blueprint really similar to what we're already used to, like when we're, considered home or in spirit. So it kind of makes sense that we would come here and be like, everything needs to be mapped out. Everything needs to be like a school, exactly like what we're used to. But then we have the spiritual amnesia and we don't realize, oh, wait a minute, we've done this before. We've been here.
I know this. I've been here. I've
Yeah,
done this before, I think.
exactly. So to me, it just kind of makes sense that, we have schools here and that's kind of our blueprint here on earth. And then we're going to spiritual school at the same time.
Yeah, because we've talked in previous podcasts about how we don't bring the entirety of our soul's energy with us. Most of us bring about 50-ish% of our soul's energy into our human experience. So there's still roughly half of our soul's energy in a light body, in spirit, performing tasks for creation and, being in service to everything, to all that is, or going to school or studying and learning about things that are unique to your soul while in a light body, while you're here too, at the same time, going through the plethora of experiences as a human. It's mind boggling to think about how much our souls are up to when we know how many thoughts and emotions and things and stuffs that we do as a human, but our soul's doing that or maybe even more that we're not even connected with because of the spiritual amnesia.
Yeah, I mean, it literally is like an alter or like a parallel reality.
Yeah, that whole like as above, so below, kind of how things are mimicked, even though we don't know exactly because of spiritual amnesia what is above, but we kind of trust that spiritual law is at play. So whatever's here, there might be something similar in spirit happening, but different, not the human 3D experience we're having. But yeah, totally, baby. I like how you use blueprint as a word. It's kind of like our souls have a blueprint for how we should do this thing. So let's go see if we can make it happen with amnesia down here.
So, I mean, Earth School kind of sucks. So why would we even choose this? Well, I guess I should say it doesn't all suck.
Yes,
There's
there we go.
definitely some beauty to it as well, but it sure can
We'll talk about
suck
the
too.
unique environment of Earth and why souls are coming here. But I really just wanted to kind of at least outline a few things in the beginning, and then we'll jump back into that question you just asked. But Earth School, or Earth Academy, as I like to call it, it is a spiritual school for soul evolution. That is part of the blueprint and purpose of Mother Gaia of Earth to allow Earth souls to grow through their growth and learning, as well as to welcome star traveler or starseed souls or lightworker souls here to also aid in their overall soul growth because Earth is such a unique environment. So our souls learn and grow over many lifetimes on earth. I'm sure there's probably a soul that's come and just did one lifetime and was like, F that, I'm never going back, and took a different approach to learning experiences as long as they didn't create karma in that one lifetime and had to come back. Most of us, when you come to earth, you're in it for many, many incarnations. And
But I think you probably create karma in other star systems too, right?
I really don't have a,
Well, we know that
that
they're.
might make you need to go back to that star system. Like I'm a vegan soul originally. Like, so did I create karma in the Lyra constellation and the Vega star system on planets there? And I needed to go work through my karma there and not just karma in general sense of karma or like earthly karma. So I need to come here and keep working through my earthly karma.
Well, but I mean, in the Akashic Records, we learned that different star seed groups of origination create karma within their group. And so some souls are here working off that karma as well, especially like the Palladians, where they are really known for their communication skills, and then the Syrians that leaked information that
Overshared their knowledge, right?
well, they leaked information that potentially was taken and a lot of destruction was created from it. And so there's that karma that they're working off. But I can imagine there has to be, well, I don't know. It seems like there has to be karma for everyone. I feel like that's just I feel like that has to be like a universal law in some shape or form.
I think karma is, and I agree that it's not just attached to earth. I think karma, the law of karma in general. But I'm kind of curious now. I'm going to have to research that in the records. If we create, where we create the karma, is that where we have to go to work it off? Or can we come to the earth school, the universal school, and work off karma from other places too, possibly?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I think so, though.
All right, we're posing questions that we don't have answers to for
Yeah.
y'all, just to, help your mind churn a little bit, kind of like ours are right now.
Yeah, and I feel like we definitely have covered this a lot in the life between lifetimes. The fact that we plan out our possible potentials for our incarnations. So you literally go through this planning process. You have your guides, in your light body helping you through this process. You have like the elders, you have your spirit guides, you probably have people in your soul group as well. And they're all probably there supporting you, helping you determine, all right, what are these possible potentials for your growth in this next incarnation coming up?
Your soul group friends are like, well, am I going to be a part of this and you'll be a part of mine and we'll help each other out in this way and cross paths? Or are we going to be like lifelong friends or family or something? Like, how do we fit into each other's like potential probabilities of
Yeah.
meeting up and stuff? It's
Yeah.
pretty intricate, pretty cool stuff when you start to think about the important people in your life and also some important random strangers that you may or may not have given any importance to how they changed your perspective or a synchronicity that came along. But definitely, like the really good friends, the close family members, there was some sort of soul communication going on, potential probability planning happening
Well,
with
even
those
probably
souls
your
for sure.
enemies too.
Oh,
Like
yes.
your arch nemesis, if you will. I have quotes or whatever, but those are probably part of your soul group as well.
Anyone that's got a significant factor in your life or a significant moment, be it positively or negatively, assessed or taken on, whatever our experience or judgment about of our experience was. This was definitely within the realm of potential probability planning, like totally the arch
Definitely.
nemesis. Yeah, babe.
And there's this idea of a recognition class where, you're in your light body, and then you go, and I use quotes because it is like a school, supposedly, when we're in our light bodies as well, but you attend or have some sort of, but you're speaking telepathically when you're in spirit. So it probably happens a lot faster than it would, in your high school
Oh,
class or
I'm
your
pretty sure
college
class is
class.
over already
Yeah.
in the time we've talked.
But there's this idea of recognition class where you essentially have some sort of cue that will help you to recognize this person. And this is going to be, probably the people that you marry. This is probably going to be the people that are your best friends, your enemies, like anybody that has any kind of significance. There's probably some sort of recognition to them from you and vice versa to help you know that this person is kind of meant to be in your life.
That little feeling you get, the way they looked, the thing that blurted out of your mouth that you would have never said in a million years, but for whatever reason in that moment you did.
Yeah, and it was probably some sort of activation for
Yep.
them or for you too. So there's a lot that goes into your planning coming to Earth Academy.
And then while we're here, we have already covered the fact that we have spiritual amnesia. So we don't remember the potential probabilities that our souls planned out together. So it's not like you're growing up and you're like 8 years old and going, in 2 years, I'm going to meet my best friend that, we're going to know each other until our 70s. Like, you don't really know these things ahead of time. So like Emily said, something might happen that's kind of an activation. But we have this free will. So we're just making choices. There's no right or wrong. It's all growth. It's all potential for that. So we're just living our lives and we have experiences. And from these experiences, however they turn out, we have growth opportunities. And something worth covering too, the actions that we take as souls are not being judged for eternity. We're not coming here with one lifetime, and depending on what we do with those few days to 120 years that we have, our soul's going to go spend eternity somewhere. We've covered this in a previous podcast or two that judgment's a human thing. There is no eternal judgment coming. Now, there is the possibility that when you leave this lifetime, depending on how you feel about your life, you may kind of take a time out, a purgatory, if you will, and you might go hang out at a place and really review things and feel into how it could have gone smoother or better, or you could have grown more or realized sooner or quicker or something in this regard.
But it's usually self-imposed.
It's self-imposed, exactly. We've never come across anything with any of our Akashic record research for souls or past life regressions or our own experiences.
With life between lifetime sessions or any kind of energy work.
So we haven't found anything that says there's an eternal judgment coming from some creator energy. That it is self-imposed and it's really a timeout until you're ready to go back and have more experience again, to get back on the growth potential of living lives. So I find that this is a more compassionate, like unified approach to soul growth. Whether we realize it or not, we are all in it together as individuals growing. But in doing so, it helps the collective highest good for all souls too. You may or may not take pride in that, hearing that. I do. Knowing that there's no right or wrong, no one's judging me, so maybe I could stop some of my self-judgments and just try to do the best that I can with the time I'm given and the moments that I have. And doing that, I actually know that I get to grow as a human and a soul, and we all do too, that I'm adding to that collective highest good potential. I find that empowering myself. So to kind of get back to the question you posed earlier about why come here if it's so freaking challenging and can be so
sucky suckersons.
And the big reason in like the unique environment of Earth School, of being here, is that as a soul on Earth, we can experience a wide range of human emotions, of challenges and triumphs, and it's all designed for our learning and for our growth. Each experience adds to the evolution or the growth potential of our souls. It allows us to resonate with Spirit's higher perspectives and expand our own consciousness along the way. And Earth, as our universe's school, because of all-in-one combination of these unique characteristics for living, this is where it can be beautiful, but this is where the sucky suckersons comes in, because we're this eternal divine light body that can never be extinguished, yet we're in a physical body that we have to nourish and care for, that we can experience pain, fatigue. We can also experience pleasure and excitement and strength and vitality. But we're in duality. So anything in between the extremes of I feel empowered or I feel disempowered, I'm having so much pleasure, I'm having terrible pain, and anything in between. Now we're this eternal thing and we got this physical body that we have to take care of that can get damaged. It's a mind fuck. There's a lot of soul groups that don't experience physicality like that and come to earth because of the wildness of being in a body, but it can take many, many lifetimes to get used to being in a body, in a physical body for a lot of starseed souls, star travelers.
Well, and I think on that same note, we also have emotions that for so much of history, we've been taught that, oh, emotions are this one thing and then your body is this other thing. We're not taught that they actually they go together and they play into each other. So like Maddie's saying, you can experience this incredible pleasure within your physical body, and that typically comes with a lot of pleasure in your emotions as well. But you can be having this pleasurable experience and then your mind starts to trail off and you start thinking about something shitty, or you start to feel self-conscious, or you start to doubt your self-worth, and you can literally bring pain through your emotions into your physical body at the same time through your consciousness. And so we have this consciousness idea as well, that you're constantly thinking, and you can have like a logical mind, and you've got the ego, and then you also can have like this abstract part of your mind as well. So, and a lot of times these things contradict each other, and that can add to the mind fuck as well.
Yeah, so you've got a physical body that you have to care for and live in. It's your vessel, it's your vehicle while you're here. You've got consciousness and thoughts to deal with. You've got emotions to contend with.
And your thoughts also play into your emotions as well.
They all integrate, and yet they're individualistic at the same time.
Yeah, but we've been taught that they're separate, these separate things. But that's just not true. I mean, you can literally cause physical pain to your body through your emotions, through your thoughts that affect your emotions that cause physical pain to your body.
You can also change the physicality of your body through your thoughts.
Yeah.
We're going to have to do a podcast on this, but there's been some really cool studies of taking people in their, 60s and 70s and putting them in an environment from 20 and 30 years ago and having them actually have their eyesight improve and their memory improve and have these improvements take over because their mind is creating within their body, oh, I'm 20 or 30 years younger and my vision was like this and I was physically like this at that time frame and stuff. I won't go too far down that rabbit hole, but our mind is so powerful and our emotions as well and how they interplay with this. So you're dealing with all of this at the same time. I mean, you're well aware of it. I'm preaching to the choir here. You know what a wild trip it is to be a human, to have your emotions in mind and the physicality going on. And then you have spiritual amnesia. So we have major religions and spiritual practices and just individual things trying to connect with something greater than ourselves, to be a part of the whole in our own way. So you're also dealing with,
what is my purpose?
Well, exactly.
Why am I here? What the fuck is this all about?
And you have all of these experiences and they may not feel cohesive, but it's all happening together cohesively. It just may not feel that way, but it's all intertwined. It's all the things all the time. I mean, sometimes we can slow down and kind of, catch our breath and still our mind or emotional body, but there's nowhere else in the universe where you can have and live out this kind of combination or conglomeration of experiences within one incarnation. Many systems are more of a mental or more, physicality or more emotional setup or more to the positive spectrum of things, that we know of. It's the universe, so anything's possible. So there definitely could be a place that's even more density than Earth experiences, or puts all of this together, but I haven't heard anybody talking about it. I haven't found it in Akashic research myself, and or you would have told me if you found it as well. So that's why Earth is considered the universe's school, because of this unique environment of what we can all experience at one time to contend with as potentials for living experiences and growth opportunities.
Yeah, so when we think of the idea of all of these challenges, then how how does it turn into growth? How do all these challenges and all the sucky suckin' suckersons turn into growth for a soul? And that is based on the idea of comparison, or, well, not comparison. What's the word I'm looking for? Opposites. I can't understand what happy is if I've never understood what being depressed feels like. Or I can't understand what pain is if I've never understood what pleasure is. If you're only one thing at all times, then you can't understand what the other side of that is unless you've experienced that also. And so that is a big reason for these challenges that we go through. And so this suffering and hardships are not punishment, they're actually meant to be for your growth. And sometimes what this looks like, well, I think one thing that should be stated is that souls are not perfect. No soul is created completely perfect. That is the whole reason why we incarnate, so that we can create more wholeness on a soul level. So, for example, as a soul, you may say, okay, I want to understand what success feels like because, I've lived in this state of non-success or not having success. So what does success look like? And so as a life lesson, you may choose to experience success. But it's not like you just come here and you experience all this great amount of success. You may experience great amount of success in one life, and then in the next life, you're going to experience not success. You have these contradictory ideas, but you want to experience a certain thing from all these different levels in all these different ways so that you can basically make an educated decision on what that looks like for you.
Just to talk about success is, I'm sure immediately we're thinking monetary success, but there's many kinds of successes out there. So you're going to explore many ways of feeling successful or not feeling successful, many different patterns within that. So definitely part of, having the duality here on Earth, the potential for opposites. This means we can explore all that in between.
Well, duality, that's the word I was kind of looking for.
I wish I would have had it for you sooner. But contradictory, you're nailing it. That's the reason that we come here with these life lessons. These things that we definitely want to explore is to explore the contradictions within ourselves, within society, within our families. It sets us up for greater potential for growth. And I also think that it's about embracing growth through the challenges, that trying to, understand that suffering and hardships are not punishments. They may feel like that. That may be a natural reaction, but they're actually opportunities for profound growth within life's challenges. Like we've said it before, it's all a part of our soul's design, but it's intended to kind of help us develop characteristics, or through our life lessons, like Emily was talking about, developing success and really knowing what that looks like to you and what it feels like and what it means and what's in your life when you're successful. Like what's going on? Is success a mental thing? Is it a feeling thing? But there's other like life lessons or characteristics that you might be looking to develop.
Like Maddie said, success doesn't have to be about money. It's like, what does success look like for you? Does that mean having freedom to hang out with your family? Does it mean having financial freedom so that you can travel a lot or experience the finer things of life or whatever? So success can be all kinds of different ways. And so that's how each person can choose a different life lesson, and it will turn out very differently for each of them. I think the last time, because there's always more updates going on with life lessons, but I think We look into what, like 92 of them so far,
Yeah, 91 or
maybe?
92. It's in the low 90s that we know to research and ask about before we do the open-ended question. And we're talking about the Soul Journey Akashic readings when we get to the life lessons portion for our clients. We also ask, is there a life lesson that we don't know of that they've taken on? And explore that a little further if we need to, if we get an affirmative on what that is and what that looks like, what potentials they could be going through. But going through your challenges, you're also going to build characteristics like empathy, fortitude, perseverance, compassion, definitely potential for wisdom in your life. Knowing how you react to a situation before will make you wiser to it the next time.
Humility.
Humility. Whoa, good one, babe.
Yeah, that's a big one. I mean, I feel like that is a huge one considering, if you're listening to this right now and you're like, oh, well, I could definitely learn what success or what empathy or fortitude or what all that looks like without experiencing challenges, then what about humility? Would you experience humility if you thought you had it all figured out?
Yeah. And you're right. I mean, they could learn something about success without experiencing challenges, but they wouldn't really truly learn all there is to learn about success. And if you're taking on a life lesson, it's several lifetimes. It's 5 to 15 lifetimes to fully experience the theme of, say, success, to really get in and understand it from all the different angles and all the different potentialities. And not only just from your genetic makeup and your family's experiences, what you were taught, you need to do it from other genes and other families and other cultures. It's not like you're going to come be an American for the entire time of your success lifetime. You're going to be born throughout the world as well. You're going to experience different cultures, things that are inherently more important or different, at least, not necessarily more important, but just a difference of importance and values and motivations around success throughout the world. So, I mean, it's super intricate.
Well, I think another way we could look at this is that oftentimes people do not value things if they're just given for free. Like people will put their best stuff, a lot of entrepreneurs, I mean, as we've seen in the last 3 or 4 years, they'll just give away some of the best stuff for free and people won't even finish the course or they won't even sign up for it because they don't value the fact that it's just being given away for free. And they think, oh, if you're giving it to me for free, then it has no value. So if you're just given success or you're given fortitude or perseverance for free without having to earn it, then you're not going to value it as much.
I would absolutely agree.
So these challenges and hardships and suffering that goes along with all of these life lessons is so that you will value it as well, because you understand what it is like on every single aspect and every single side of it.
Yeah. And I mean, that too, I mean, that is one of those weird things. And being in an online spiritual world business that we're in, we have done some freebies and we do this weekly podcast and write blog posts and we put out what we think is really good information, hoping to create provocation, hoping to create new thoughts, new awareness within anyone that might listen or read.
Provoking new thoughts.
Provoking new thoughts within people. So, we're putting good stuff out there, but we fully also understand that sometimes people look at that and go, it can't be that good. It's free. No, that's just a podcast I don't pay for. So we understand that paradigm, which is weird, but yet
we hope that you do value at least
we know if you're
stuff.
listening that you're not one of those that disvalues something just because it's free. You're probably like us. You like to explore and dive in and see what's up a little bit and then decide if it's valuable to you. That's how I am. I want to get in a little bit. I want to hear some podcasts. I want to learn the nuts and bolts a little and then make a decision. So by facing and overcoming our obstacles, we get to transcend our limitations. And ultimately, we have the potential to connect deeper with our own divine essence, what makes us tick, what our values and motivations are. And personal responsibility is crucial to get the most from this process of being in Earth School, of going through challenges and obstacles and learning life lessons. That we'll dive in that a little bit more, but personal responsibility is pretty crucial. along the way. So we've
Yes.
kind of set up why it's so freaking challenging here, why it can be sucky suckersons, as Emily put it. But what are some ways that we can make it easier on ourselves now that we understand part of the reason we came to Earth was for the potential of growth, that it's a school. So, what can we do? Or what can you do? Well, we've got a few ideas about that we try to practice ourselves and have kind of grown within our own and resonates within ourselves and has changed our perspectives too. So, we wanted to share some things with you.
Yeah, so the first one is reframing your experiences for healing. And we've definitely said this before, and we'll say it again. Instead of thinking life is happening to you, think about life happening for you. Like each of these challenges, each of these things that you experience and you overcome, they are there so that you can heal certain aspects of yourself. So if you see these mistakes and these failures as a reason for, instead of self judgment, you can start to view them more as valuable lessons. Or some of these traumatic things that happen in your life, a lot of times these are things that are coming up over and over so that you can heal them and basically put them to rest for good, essentially, like within your energetic body.
Absolutely. And if you notice, if you can even catch on that there's a pattern, that whole, this is similar to another experience. It may not be with the same person. It might be a relationship pattern and you're picking up on it now over a few relationships that it's happened. Or it could just be that you're catching on to a limited belief. But if you can catch a hold of patterns, that's a huge thing because the pattern will keep happening. And sometimes they'll get even more intense for us to experience. But like Emily's saying, if it's coming up repeatedly, it is so you can overcome that. It's so you can heal from this and put it to rest within your energetic body and to create healing within yourself.
So that you don't keep perpetuating it and continue to bring it into all of your subsequent incarnations.
So reframing your experiences for healing it's kind of mindset work for sure. And if you can tweak this within yourself and start to see things as valuable lessons, as Emily just put it, this mindset can encourage us to let go of victimization and feeling victimized. Like when traumas or tough lessons are playing out, it's a supernatural reaction to have. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with feeling like you're being a victim. I mean, it happens. Things come up and you can feel like, oh, somebody did this to me and I feel victimized by this. But it's the living in a state of victimhood, of holding on to the pain and the blame and the whatever charge and never, coming out of that. This can become a real major hurdle in our healing journey. It certainly was for me with my childhood traumas when they came up, and I stayed in that state for a while, and it's what I knew. I didn't see that as a valuable lesson or potential for healing genetic karma and being a cycle breaker. These things weren't coming to me, but I knew that I was in a state of victimhood, but I didn't know what to do to break out of it, or that even breaking out of it could be empowering. None of that was available to my psyche at that time. No one was telling me that potential.
Well, and I think a part of breaking out of victimhood too is also self worth and confidence work as well. Because you will keep attracting the type of relationship that you think that you deserve. So if you decide, wait a minute, I don't deserve this anymore, I deserve to be treated with respect, or I at least want to be treated with respect, then you'll start to be able to kind of notice these things in your relationships where you aren't being treated with respect and you are able to choose differently and not stay in that victimhood mentality.
Yeah, that's a really important point. So understanding, just kind of going back, like understanding that our souls set up the potentials for these experiences for our growth, it can allow us to release blame and avoid perpetuating negative cycles, to try to release the blame and the victimhood and make peace and move forward in life, that these perpetuating negative cycles, because we're holding on to a mindset that won't let us release, can be self-perpetuating, self-fulfilling.
Yes. And I know from experience that it's very difficult. So if you are going through that, just know that you are not alone and that it does take time, but it can be released.
And also that the fact that you're here, your soul knows that you're strong enough. You've got what it takes on the inside. Whether you realize it or not, it's there. The potential for empowerment and strength and healing and shifting stuff is all there for you. So let's jump into like balancing justice and forgiveness, because we are in a physical world and we have the ability to take actions against each other or for each other. So while humans are responsible for hurting one another, like on a spiritual big picture sense, these interactions are part of our soul's design, these potentials. And seeking justice, like while we're here, this is important when it's possible. But holding on to the blame keeps our souls trapped in the negativity, in the negative cycle. So we want to try to be able to move forward and let go. So it's this balance of needing justice with forgiveness so we can move forward. Trying to accept what happened as part of the potential for our life and finding a way forward that feels good to you is a super empowering step in your soul's growth. And no one else can tell you what that is, but finding a way that it feels good to you. And if that is seeking justice through the legal system or having a conversation with somebody or setting some boundaries or walking away from someone in your life, whatever it is that feels good, that's the best decision for you, know that's the best decision for you. And that it can be super empowering and really kick in the healing aspect of this. And this challenge is really real and it's authentically raw. But embracing our own personal responsibility and seeking the justice that we may need while also fostering forgiveness allows for true healing and growth to potentially take place. It is this balance of justice and forgiveness that can really shift things in our life. And just know that whatever you feel you need is probably right for you, or at least right for you in that moment. And it may shift and change. But, just consider doing your best to try to balance those things out.
Yeah, and so the third way that you can start to make, this your life a little bit easier on yourself, or ways we can start to make life easier on ourselves, is by cultivating mindfulness and self-awareness. And this is really essential to fully embrace our role as students here in Earth School. And the ways that you can start to cultivate mindfulness and self-awareness are things like developing your intuition, practicing meditation, journaling, connecting with nature. That absolutely helps you attune to your soul's guidance and align with your higher purpose. Like all of those things can help with those. And we just recently listened to a podcast talking about mindfulness, and essentially mindfulness is just being aware of the differences. Like being aware of everything, not just being like, oh, today's going to be the same day and just I'm going to go through the motions and not notice anything different. No, this is when you actually become a little bit more hyper aware of the differences in the people around you. You start to notice more. You start to notice maybe a bird is singing a little differently, or maybe the wind, the way it's blowing through the grass, it looks really trippy and cool. Or, you just start to notice all of these different things in your life, and you actually start to live your life more when you start to notice these things instead of just being this, going through the motions type person.
Well, and this was a doctor, a professor at Harvard, and she was talking too, about how as soon as you think you have it figured out and know it, you're kind of closed off to being mindful because I know this and I've set this aside. So then you're not open to the new possibilities. You're not open to the new bird song. The person who might act a certain way usually, and now they're doing something different. You've kind of I got this figured out, and you start to put your attention elsewhere. But being open to the possibilities is being mindful. I thought that was really cool. She even went on to talk about how being forgetful. If we remembered everything, would there ever be anything new that we could experience? So even being forgetful can be great for mindfulness, can open us up to, being available to the new possibilities, to experiencing something anew again, maybe in a slightly different way than last time. So having more awareness will make us more conscious of the lessons presented to us, and it makes us more capable of integrating them into our lives. So this is why it's great to become more mindful, to attune that way, to kind of cultivate that and more self-awareness. And I think something really important, and we've gotten into this before, we've talked about this in other podcasts too, but like the more that we appreciate and embrace our life's lessons and challenges, especially like the negatively perceived stuff, the more that it can elevate the experience towards the positive end of the spectrum. If we're expecting negativity, then life kind of has to give us our expectations and how we view it. But if we look at challenges as lessons and potential for growth, then it doesn't necessarily have to be this negative experience. Well, then we could grow from positive experiences. Oh, you feel positively about your challenges. Okay, well, here's a positive challenge for you. So it can be kind of cool that where we put that focus and how we view something, how it will show up in our life. I think that's a really important thing to take from this as well. This is something that we've researched within the Akashic Records, within life lessons that souls take on, that if you can kind of reframe your position and cultivate more mindfulness and more positivity around your challenges, around your lessons, they will show up in a more positive spectrum for you because you're already appreciating them and see a challenging thing as a positive thing.
Yeah, and the last one that we have is just transforming your approach to life, like how you start to think about life just in general. And if you start to think about, being here in this incarnation and being in your body on earth as a spiritual school rather than this courtroom of eternal judgment, then that basically transforms your life into a more positive outlook. And that goes along with what Maddie was just saying. So it's a more empowering way to embrace your life and think about your experiences. And it also gives you the ability to just have more grace and gratitude for each moment that you live. I mean, life can be a really beautiful thing. It's an incredible thing to wake up each morning and be able to live it. And it's very empowering to take that approach.
And that's a choice to take that approach. And repetition of choice creates a pattern. And then you start to have a transformed life. For us, accessing the Akashic Records, it's helped us to navigate our earthly journey with a deeper sense of purpose. You can find purpose in navigating your life and having a greater connection to your most authentic self. I mean, part of your purpose is to grow. Part of every soul's purpose is for that learning potential. And there's many motivations and many purposes that you'll be experiencing in life. But this is one you can bank on. You came for growth. So transforming your approach to life around this aspect of purpose in your life can really be empowering and can shift that. And you can feel a greater sense of purpose and have that deeper connection.
Well, and something else too is you can also experience a deeper sense of purpose by just finding more joy in the seemingly mundane areas of your life. If you're someone who wants to exercise daily, but you're constantly hating it every single day, you can just take a step back and say, wait a minute, this is something that I want to do for myself and for my body. And each time you start to stray to those feelings of hatred for what you're doing, then you can just bring it back. Say, no, this is something that I want. And if it's something that you just really can't do that with, that you literally don't like doing, find yourself something that you do enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Find a means of exercise that you do enjoy so that you can help rewire that mindset about what you're doing. And I mean, this can be true for flossing and brushing your teeth before bed. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. I'm like, no, wait a minute. I love my teeth. I want to be doing this because I want to have healthy teeth. It's like bringing yourself back to a more positive mindset that can help you have more purpose just within those small acts each day.
And the last point is just a reminder. Part of transforming your approach to life is trying to release blame, embrace personal responsibility, and foster forgiveness. That these are keys.
For yourself and for
True.
Others.
Thank you. Fostering forgiveness for yourself.
And grace.
And some grace for yourself as well as forgiveness for others. Yeah, thank you for that. That these are keys to breaking free from negative cycles and achieving the spiritual growth that your soul wants, that you came for. I know spiritual amnesia is a thing, and you may or may not remember that you wanted that, but these are keys from breaking through those negative cycles and achieving something that your soul wanted. And this gets to the end of the show, and I just wanted to say from the deepest part of my heart, thank you for being here now, for bravely choosing to face your lessons, and by doing so effectively raising the vibrations of love all over the earth.
Yeah, we're in this together, and we need everybody's participation in order to raise the vibration of Earth to a more loving place. I mean, we all know that there's a lot of crazy stuff that goes on, but if we each can make the choice within ourselves to choose to live in a more loving way, to embrace ourselves with more love and with more grace,
to embrace the chaos and the potentials for learning within it, and to shift the chaos into something more positive, to effectively start to nullify the chaos, because more and more of us are doing this. Instead of choosing chaos and creating more, we're choosing to embrace it and learn from it and not perpetuate it.
Yeah, and if there's anything we've learned in this podcast is that the challenges and the obstacles, aka the chaos that is happening on our world right now, today, is the way to growth.
Well said. So we are so grateful for you.
Yes, we are so grateful to all of our listeners and to, anyone that's reached out to tell us that they appreciate what we're doing, because, we really appreciate you as well. We're so grateful to you, and we have so much love.
So much love for you. Thank you. If you got any thoughts or questions about today's podcast and about Earth being a school and your experiences, the email will be in the description. Hit us up and let us know what's going on in your world.
Yep.
All right. Until next week, take care of yourselves.
Yes, take care.
Hey, soul friends. Thanks for listening to today's show. If you've been resonating with our podcast, Emily and I would be honored if you would share this episode with a friend. Or even better, share this episode on your socials and tag us at Soul Vibe Insights so we can connect with more amazing, like-minded souls just like yourself. Have a great day.